there has to be something going on for them to rationally think it's a good idea for me to spend $25 on an XRP right now. That's a 100x price increase from where we are right now. So there has to be something going on in their mind to make them rationally come to the conclusion that let me go ahead and spend $25 on an XRP. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about the Ripple XRP price chart and the exit plan for when the price does go on its bull run and reaches out to the targets that we have outlined in my previous videos. We will talk about those price targets in this video. I'm not going to do like a super detailed 20-minute long video completely focusing on the technical analysis of that because I've done that before. If you need to see the complete technical analysis on how I come up with these targets, just go look at my previous videos and look for the one titled Ripple XRP Price Prediction 2020. And that is going to give you the exact way of how I come up with these targets. Now, there are a bunch of different targets, but there's three main targets that I have, and that's $13, $26, and $55. We will dive into some of the technical analysis on that here in a second, but I wanted to talk to you more so about the psychological impact of the charts and the global economic situations that are going on right now and what it will actually feel like when we get to that moment. Because let's think about that for a minute, right? You have to think something has to be going on in the world for the retail investor to FOMO in and buy XRP at $12 or $13. There has to be something going on for them to rationally think it's a good idea for me to spend $25 on an XRP right now. That's a 100x price increase from where we are right now. So there has to be something going on in their mind to make them rationally come to the conclusion that let me go ahead and spend $25 on an XRP right now. So I want to talk about what it will be like at that exact time and what's going to be going on in your head when that happens as well. Something that I've been talking about a lot in my recent videos is that I'm expecting the dollar or the DXY, the US dollar currency index, to take a very big plunge. So I'm expecting that the value of the dollar is going to deplete and that we will see inflation and potentially hyperinflation in the United States with the United States dollar. And outside of utility for XRP, something like a hyperinflating dollar or a collapsing dollar would be a pretty good catalyst for retail investors to say, you know what, this is a great idea for me to buy XRP at $25. I've outlined it several times that I do believe this is an ABC correction with an A, B with a 70% retrace, and then we come down and do C. Now we could bounce off from C and come down and go down even lower. It's totally possible. But when I think about how this is all going to play out, I'm having to think about this moment in time right here. And I'm having to think about what will it look like for the dollar, what will be going on in consumer perception, and what they're thinking about the dollar when it's collapsing in that big wave C down. I think a lot of people who hold XRP are going to be watching the price of their asset flying in the upward direction, and they're going to be watching the dollar falling rapidly. And it's going to actually be a very difficult decision to say, I'm going to sell my XRP, which is going up, for the dollar, which is going down. When you think of that rationally, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Why would you sell something that's going up to buy something that is still going down? And that's why we have to make our plans so far ahead of time. That's why I make my plans so far ahead of time to just kind of psychologically prepare myself for that is probably going to feel pretty darn uncomfortable at the time. There's going to be some people who are not able to do it. They're going to hold on to their XRP. They are not going to swap it for the dollar because they think that XRP is going to continue going up beyond the targets and that the dollar will continue falling even more below the targets. They will not let go. But I'm preparing myself for what the world will actually look like when that day comes. The world and the United States citizens will all be in agreement that we should be selling our dollars and buying digital assets. And that's the exact moment where I have to say, nope, we shouldn't. We should be selling our digital assets and buying the dollar. After the dollar has already fallen a lot and XRP has gone up a lot. So I just wanted to plant that seed in your head real quick of thinking about what will the world really look like when it's time to start firing up and we do start reaching those targets and it starts becoming apparent that, whoa, the dollar is not doing very good and XRP is doing great. And then you say to yourself, well, I'm going to sell XRP even though it's doing great, and I'm going to buy the dollar even though it's doing really bad. You get what I'm saying? Because we have to expect that the dollar will bounce and we have to expect that XRP will get rejected by a resistance. So imagine this, right? So the dollar is falling and falling, and XRP is rising and rising, and the dollar is falling. And now the dollar has lost 20% of its value. The world is screaming, oh no, what's going on? Stocks are falling. The dollar is falling. XRP is rising. You feel like a genius. You're in the right decision. You did it. You're the man. You're the woman. You did it. You rock. And then you say, I'm going to sell here and I'm going to buy this thing, which is going straight down. And the general public is going to think you're wrong. Most people will think that you're wrong, and you're going to have to take a shot at it. At least I'm telling you what I'm doing. I am going to have to take a shot at it. So I don't think the dollar is going to be looking all that appealing when it comes time. But right, that's what we've forecasted the whole time. We've been forecasting dollar pricing of XRP, and we've been forecasting that it does get rejected at certain dollar prices for XRP. And so you have to buy the dollar. But the thing is, the dollar is probably going to look very scary at that time. So I just wanted to plant that seed for you. The first thing I want to show you is Fibonacci extensions. When you break out into new all-time highs, the only real way to measure where you can predict that the big resistance is going to be is by taking a look at the Fibonacci extensions and by measuring percentage moves. So those are really the only ways that you can project where a price is going to get rejected. It's also used by a lot of trading bots and traders as the specific places where they're going to take profits at. So when we make these forecasts, we're going to be using these Fibonacci extensions, and I want to show you how I come up with each of them. So our first target is going to be a Fibonacci extension based off the previous all-time high to the bottom of the bear market. So we go from the top of the bull market to the bottom of the trough of the bear market, and that takes us up to around $13 as our first price zone. Now we can see that this exact Fibonacci extension level has worked many times in the past, and we can just hop on over here to the Ethereum price chart and see that when we finally got into the final wave 5 extension of this bull market, that's exactly where it reached out to, and it got rejected a couple of times along the way, and then once it got up to there, that was the end of the bull run. So wave 5. So we had 5 waves taking us up wave 5 to reach out to a 4.236 Fibonacci extension, and that was the end. So if we project a 4.236 Fibonacci extension based off of the bull and bear market, so this bear market pull down, it reaches us out to around $13. And that's going to be a range. It's going to be somewhere between $13 and $15 most likely. So we'll put our first target right in that zone. Next, I want to show you the Bitcoin price chart, and we're going to throw a Fibonacci analysis on here. When we measure at the very bottom of the previous bear market, way down here, and we put the 0.236 Fibonacci extension right on the tip top of the previous bull market. So we have the 0.236 right here at the top of the last bull, the bottom of the Fibonacci right down here at the bottom of the bear, and we look at how far out this bull market reached. It took us right on up there to that Fibonacci extension level, and that was the end of the bull market. So when we apply that same rationale to the XRP price chart, that gives us a Fibonacci extension level of around $55. Again, that's going to be a range, but I'm going to guess it's going to be somewhere around $55. So we'll put it in kind of like a $50 to $60 range right there. Lastly, when we look at the Bitcoin chart and we apply previous fractals to current patterns, you can see that this market reached out and it got stopped out at the same location of this topping. So right here, for an XRP's price chart, that would be this one right here. That would be right here. So that would mean if we reached out to the same extensions and followed a similar fractal style, that would take XRP up to around $26. Now I'm going to overlay the fractal here, but this is not a timing prediction. This is just showing you a percentage increase. So we'll put it right there at the bottom of that. And you can see that this price does reach out to right here. Now, this is not a timing prediction. You can always move this thing in like this all you want. It doesn't matter. We are projecting that it goes up to around the $26 price zone. And for me, this is my favorite one. I think $26 is the most likely. Could always go to 55, could always go beyond. We don't know, but we have to make a projection based off percentages and based off Fibonacci's. That's the only way we can project future growth beyond all-time highs. So my favorite target is going to be that $26 region. However, I will take some profits along the way. And when that time comes, I'm going to suspect that the dollar is going to look very sketchy at the time. So I hope that this video gave you guys some food for thought. We've always talked about the different price projections, but really when you're thinking about what will the world actually be like when those targets are getting reached, I don't think it's going to be looking like everything is hunky-dory and peachy and that buying the dollar is the smartest thing in the entire world to be doing when that time comes. I think the general public is going to be selling their dollars to buy XRP. And so if they're spending $13 or $25 per XRP, there's likely going to be something pretty scary about the United States dollar. So I just wanted to kind of like plant that seed way ahead of time in that, it's something we're all going to have to be prepared for. And I'm psychologically prepared for that, that's what it's probably going to look like. So, hey, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you like this video. So if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, please subscribe to my channel so you can get notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick me up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.